Right guys, we have a ton of interesting details regarding the M2 iPad Pro, so let's delve into it. But first, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours, and with that being said, let's just tuck in. Right, so the source is 9to5Mac, and so yeah, this information is legit. So what exactly does 9to5Mac tell us? Well, they begin with the design of the new iPad Pro, because of course, there's been numerous reports regarding a glass back coming to the iPads for MagSafe support. And well, allegedly according to 9to5Mac, the glass design has now been scrapped. Now, why did they cancel this design? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Apple was worried about the durability of this iPad with a glass back. Since of course glass is way more fragile than aluminium, and so one drop could instantly shatter the back of your iPad, and that's gonna piss off a ton of consumers. But of course, Apple still wants to give us MagSafe on the iPad, and so as a result, they've come up with a compromise. And while that is giving the iPads a larger glass Apple logo on the back, that of course can be used for MagSafe. Now, the size of the logo should be similar to the new MacBook Pros, and this of course is really the ideal solution because of course you get the lightness and the durability of aluminium, but of course for those who do prefer MagSafe, you can now charge your iPad through the actual glass within the logo. And of course, do remember there's been reports regarding reverse charging coming to the iPads, and so in many ways the Apple logo could be this wireless charging pad that you place your iPhone, AirPods, and pretty much any Qi-enabled device to charge on. So yes, I do prefer this option compared to, of course, a full glass back. Now, 9to5Mac also gives us other details regarding this iPad. For example, we could see larger batteries, and that makes total sense since, of course, if this iPad's going to have reverse charging and is going to charge other devices, it surely needs more juice. Also, many consumers have complained about the excessive battery drain with the Magic Keyboard, and so of course, giving us a larger battery could fix that. And honestly, I do hope we get some serious battery improvements with the iPads, since of course, since the conception of the iPads, Apple's been maintaining 10 hours of battery life, but they refuse to improve upon that. And so yes, I'm hoping that finally, Apple does break that barrier and goes beyond 10 hours of usage. Now, the next thing they talk about is the camera module on the back. This should be similar to the iPhone 13, so expect a diagonal camera layout on the back of this iPad. In fact, the diagonal layout probably means we're going to see sensor shift stabilization and also the bigger iPhone 12 Pro Max sensor on this iPad. That's pretty overkill to be honest, but a pretty nice upgrade nonetheless. And by the way guys, since we're getting a larger camera module on the back, do expect existing accessories, specifically the Magic Keyboards, to not work with these new iPads. In fact, with the addition of MagSafe, I do expect Apple to remove the Smart Connect on the back, and instead, accessories like the Magic Keyboards use MagSafe instead. And finally, 9to5Mac mentions we should see a new chip, and so that obviously means we're going to see the M2 in this iPad. Now, the upgrades with the M2 compared to the M1 aren't that massive, but of course we should see A15 cores that have a higher clock speed, and obviously 10 GPU cores. But of course, do remember all this is pretty overkill for the iPads, and until Apple gives us software within the iPads that takes advantage of all this power, these upgrades really are kinda pointless. Now, another interesting tidbit 9to5Mac mentions in the report is that their source also believes Apple's developing larger iPads. Now, Gurman also told us this would be the case, and for those who do use iPads as a laptop replacement, I can see them appreciating a larger display. But of course, do remember these larger iPads are very early prototypes, and so it's pretty unlikely they're going to materialize anytime soon. And also, yet another tidbit, Apple is apparently considering giving us a notch on the iPads. This would be a nightmare because of course the bezel situation on the iPads is perfectly fine, but for brand recognition's sake, I can actually see Apple giving us a notch on a future iPad. And finally, the release allegedly is going to be during the first half of 2022. Now this, I do kind of find a little hard to believe, since of course, I do not expect Apple to debut the M2 chip, a Mac chip, in an iPad first. That makes no sense. And so of course, since we're seeing the MacBook Air with the M2 chip in mid-2022 at the very earliest, I would not expect the iPad Pro to release during the first half of 2022. Personally, I think an October release makes the most sense for this iPad, but tell me your thoughts in the comments below, guys. When do you think this iPad Pro is going to launch? Anyways, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors. Check out the video in the card above on details regarding the iPad 10, and on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya, peeps.